Hello everyone. Over the past 2 years, we have witnessed an unprecedented race in AI. Every few months, a new model captures the headlines. GPT becomes GPT-4, then GPT 4.1, then GPT 5.1, and so on. Claude outperforms one benchmark, Gemini introduces another breakthrough, DeepSeek, DeepSeek disrupts the market, with lower cost. Tomorrow, there will be another model claiming to be faster, cheaper, or more intelligent. As an industry, we have become obsessed with one question: which LLM should we build on? I believe that's the wrong question. In today's session, we will explore what it takes to build a sustainable AI architecture. More importantly, we will answer a fundamental question that every AI architect and technology leader should ask. Whether you whether should we place our strategic investment? Is it in adopting the latest LLM or in building a scalable, resilient, and sustainable AI architecture? Let's ask a simple question to ourselves. What happens to our business when the AI model you have built on is suddenly no longer available? Let's begin by looking at a few headlines from the past year in indicating that recent disruption in AI in this industry. These aren't isolated incidents. They represent a pattern that every organization building AI should pay attention to. In June 2026, Forbes reported that Anthropic disabled access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 following US government's export restrictions. In May 2026, MNS reported a global outage affecting ChatGPT and Codex, disrupting services relied upon by millions of users and enterprise. In February 2026, discussions across the AI community highlighted that retirement of Claude Sonnet 3.7 requiring organizations to migrate to the newer model. Similarly, in January 2026, OpenAI announced the retirement schedule for several models, including GPT-4o, GPT 4.1, and GPT 4.1 mini, accord encouraging customers to transition to the newer version. So, what do these events tell us? They tell us something fundamental about AI industry. No LLM is permanent. Every frontier model has a life cycle. Hosting this LLM requires a significant amount of GPU infrastructure. As a result, LLM providers cannot maintain every model version indefinitely. As newer and more capable models are released, older models must eventually be depreciated, decommissioned, or archived, making them unavailable for production use. Vendor locking. Your innovation, their control. What is the fundamental problem with the vendor locking? Organizations invest significant time and effort in building AI applications, workflows, agents, business logic, and contextual prompts around a specific LLM, such as GPT, Claude, or Gemini. Once the solution is in production, they may face challenges such as increased pricing, model depreciation or discontinuation, access restrictions, geopolitical or regulatory constraints, competitive pressure from newer and better models. What happened next? The organizations is forced to go back to the drawing board, redesigning workflows, re-engineering agents, rewriting business logics, and adapting prompts con- that context for a new model. In the AI landscape, these changes occur so frequently that sustaining them becomes extremely difficult, regardless of the resources available. Instead of focusing on innovation, organizations spend their time reacting to the change, making it difficult to maintain BAU operations in such a rapidly evolving ecosystem. So, what conclusion can we draw from the previous slide? Every LLM, whether it is GPT, Claude, Gemini, or any future model, is temporary. Model upgrades, depreciates, price changes, access restrictions, and even vendor challenges are inevitable. As these changes occur, organizations are often forced to modify their applications, workflows, prompts, and integrations just to remain compatible with the latest model. So, from the strategic perspective, what should you invest in? Definitely not in model. Invest in your architecture because the architecture is what you own. Additionally, you own your business logic, you own your workflows, you own your governance, you own your enterprise knowledge. The LLM model is simply a replaceable component within that architecture. And that is why models are temporary, but architecture is strategic. Let's understand this with a small illustration in coming slide. Now imagine your organization is impacted by one of these vendor related events. A sudden price increase, a model being discontinued, new compliance requirement, or regulatory restrictions comes in the way. Let's say your application is currently powered by GPT-4o and you now need to migrate to Claude Sonnet 4.5. The question isn't whether you can migrate. Of course, you can migrate. The real question is how quickly you can replace the underlying LLM without changing your application. 1 day, 1 month, or 1 year. If replacing the model requires you to rewrite your application, redesign your workflows, modify your agents, or redesign your business logic, then your application is tightly coupled to the model. That's not a LLM problem. That is the architecture problem. So, what's the way forward? The answer lies in decoupling your application from AI models. And that's where an AI gateway comes in. The foundation of truly model agnostic AI platform. Let's imagine introducing an AI gateway between your application and the LLM providers. Instead of your application communicating directly with GPT, Claude, and Gemini, every AI request first passes through the AI gateway. The gateway becomes the intelligence layer that can dynamically route requests to the most appropriate model at runtime. Number two, seamlessly switch between LLM providers without requiring changes to the application. Number three, capture detailed matrices for every request, including token consumption, latency, cost, prompts, responses, failures, and model parameters such as temperature and context window. Number four, enforce enterprise-wide governance, security, and compliance policies from a single control point. Now imagine your application is running on GPT-4o and suddenly the model is depreciated, becomes unavailable, or no longer meets your business or regulatory requirements. Without an AI gateway, you would need to modify your application and redeploy your changes. With an AI gateway, you simply update the routing policies to redirect requests to another compatible model such as Claude Sonnet or Gemini or the local LLM. Your application remains unchanged. Your business continues uninterrupted. That's the true value of the AI gateway. It doesn't just connect your application to the AI model, it protects your application from the constant evaluation of AI model. Now, the next question is an AI gateway alone enough to build resilient AI system? Can an AI gateway by itself provide everything needed to build a robust, scalable, and future-ready AI application? The answer is no. An AI gateway solves one critical challenge. It decouples your application from LLM providers and protects you from the vendor locking. However, it is not just the model that is tightly coupled with an application. It is also the business knowledge in most of the cases. Let's compare how AI applications are traditionally built versus how they should be built using RAG retrieval augmentation generation. Before RAG, business knowledge is embedded inside prompts, prompt templates, and model-specific instructions. In other words, the application depends on a combination of business knowledge, prompt engineering, and a specific model. If you replace the model, you would often force to revisit your prompts, retest the applications, and sometimes even redesign parts of the solution. Your knowledge becomes tied to the model. Now let's look at the architecture after introducing RAG displayed at right side of the page. Instead of embedding business knowledge inside prompts, we move it into a dedicated knowledge layer, typically backed by a vector database. When a user asks a question, the application first retrieves the most relevant business context from the knowledge layer. Only then the context is sent to the LLM. This changes everything. Now the model is no longer responsible for remembering your business. It is only responsible for reasoning over the information you provided. As a result, your business knowledge becomes independent of the LLM. Whether you use GPT today, Claude tomorrow, Gemini next month, or even an open source model next year, your enterprise knowledge remains exactly where it belongs with your organization. That's why RAG isn't just a retrieval technique, it is an architectural design that separates knowledge from intelligence. And once your knowledge is decoupled from the model, you have taken another major steps towards building a truly sustainable AI platform. So the question is why RAG makes AI sustainable? RAG plays a critical role in building sustainable AI solution because it separates enterprise knowledge from the underlying AI model. Let's zoom in few bullet points to understand the capabilities of RAG. Number one, your knowledge survives model changes. That means even if you switch from GPT to Claude or Gemini, your business knowledge remains intact. Number two, swift model migration. Since you are only replacing the model, not redesigning your application or rebuilding your knowledge base. Number three, reduces the need for fine tuning. Instead of retraining models, whenever business information changes, the latest context is retrieved dynamically from the knowledge layer. Number four, supports continuous knowledge updates, allowing new documents, policies, and business informations to be indexed as a part of your existing data pipelines without redeploying the AI application. Number five, cost optimization. By retrieving only the most relevant context, RAG helps with cost optimization, reducing token consumption, and improving response efficiency. Number six, finally, it provides better governance by grounding responses in trusted enterprise data, making AI output more transparent, auditable, and compliant. So far, we have discussed two key architecture building blocks, AI Gateway and RAG. Let's now see how they work together to create a sustainable AI architecture. Enterprise AI applications typically faces two type of disruption after they go into the production. The first is business knowledge change, also known as data drift. New policies, production information, regulations, and business documents are continuously evolving. The second is LLM ecosystem change. Models are upgraded, depreciated, becomes more expensive, face regulatory restrictions, or replaced by newer alternatives. A sustainable AI architecture must be resilient to both. This is where the architecture on this slide comes into play. On the left, the RAG layer separates your enterprise knowledge from the LLM. Business data is continuously processed, converted into embeddings, and stored in the vector database. Whenever the application receives a query, the retriever fetches the latest relevant context and supplies it to the LLM. As your business knowledge evolves, you simply update the knowledge base. There is no need to retrain or redesign the applications. On the right, the AI gateway separates your application from individual LLM providers. It certainly it centrally manages model routing, configuration, secrets, security, governance, and cost tracking. If one model is discontinued, becomes unavailable, or no longer meets your business requirement, the gateway can seamlessly route requests to another compatible model without requiring changes to the application. Together, these two layers addresses the two biggest source of changes in enterprise AI. RAG absorbs changes in business knowledge. AI Gateway absorbs changes in LLM ecosystem. As a result, your application remains stable even as your data evolves and the AI providers continue to change. That's what makes this architecture sustainable. It is designed to adapt to change rather than being disrupted by it. As we conclude, I would like to leave you with one simple thoughts. Over the last few years, we have spent a lot of time comparing AI models, GPT versus Claude, Claude versus Gemini, or open source versus proprietary model. But these are not the assets that creates long-term business values. The assets you should invest in and own are your data, your enterprise knowledge, your business workflows, your governance, and above all, your architecture. These are unique to your organizations and will continue to deliver values regardless of which AI model is leading the market. On the other hand, LLMs, frameworks, and AI providers are technologies that will continue to evolve. New models will emerge, older one will be retired, pricing will change, and regulations will evolve. These are capabilities you should consume, not become dependent on. The goal is not to build application around a specific model. The goal is to build an architecture that can welcome changes without disrupting your business. So I would like to end with the same message we started with. Stop glorifying LLMs, start building for change. Thank you.